Hi there, it's Lori, and I'm here with the story of the map. It's all done. It's a map. It's a map. Map, 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 map. There it is. I will insert a picture of it as well, and probably just do a picture and then some voiceover on that section so you can really look at it. It is about 39 inches wide, which is about a meter. Okay. And it's a little shorter than it is wide. It looks very close to square. It's about 38 inches this way. But again, it virtually looks square. Down in the description box, I will have all the yarn I used, the hook size I used. The only one I won't, well, there's two. I won't be able to tell you what yarn this is because I don't know. And I'm not sure how much I used. And same with this yarn. Now this yarn was thinner. This yarn I didn't switch hooks on, but I did only do 2 double crochets in each spot for Greenland. And it keeps sticking to my knee brace that has Velcro on it. Anyway, so there it is. It's so pretty. I am going to include a segment on how much yarn I used and how I'm going to calculate that. I, in a way, lost at Yarn Chicken, and I was very sad because I had to get into the third skein of this ice cream yarn. This is Lemon Meringue, regular ice cream yarn. So this is a DK 3-weight yarn. I don't know how many plies that is. And it's a true, to me, it's a true 3-weight, especially as you work it up. It kind of thins out. But this yarn, for example, is a 4-weight. This yarn is a 4-weight. I'm guessing this yarn could even be a 6-weight. And this yarn, I'm pretty sure, is a 5-weight. So something I do that makes it harder on myself, to be honest, but I like the way things come out, is that I mix yarn weights. I don't love, I'll be honest, I don't love how holy it made it using the 5.5 millimeter hook with the 3-weight, but it's still lined up pretty well. And yes, you can feel the difference in the weights and the yarns on the edge, but it's gorgeous. And so I don't care. Now, when I make my own, I'm actually doing a 5-weight yarn out here. It'll probably still be this big twist pool time, but I'm going to have lots of different green yarns, different tans and variegated, and I'm really going to make it very detailed. I might make it larger too, just so, like for me, with this being 39 by 38, it's perfect for my lap. Like it goes from my waist down to my feet, but I'm 5'5". Most of my height is in my legs. So it's a decent size for me, but again, it's going to be bigger yarn, at least on the outside. So it will naturally be bigger. I might hook size up, but I'll have to see because I already started that technically, because then I changed my mind and went to this because I decided I want to make one for myself. Anyway, so 2 and a little, but I will get you specifics here with my lovely husband got me a really fantastic scale that is going to make my life easier. It's not that little postage stamp of a scale, so I do need to link that at some point. Anyway, so this is Lemon Meringue ice cream yarn. This is 394 yards. Its recommended hook size is a 5 millimeter, and again, I used a 5.5. That's why that's a little holier than, not like as in amen holy, hole as in it's got a hole in it. There's a hole in your bucket, dear Liza. Anyway, so ice cream yarn, 2 and a little. I'll get you specifics. It'll be in the description. Well, I'll show the video of that. Then this, do I have it? Yes. Okay, I couldn't remember if I had this yarn over here or not. This is pool time. So I have, and I'm going to have to weigh this because I used part of this skein. Not a half. I'm going to ballpark about a third, but I'll weigh it and give you the specifics. And this little bit was left on my bobbin, so not much. I did a pretty good job estimating how much yarn I needed for most of the map. Let me show you how much green was left, because that's the almost more impressive one. This one I didn't measure at all. This was Antarctica, and it needs to go in my, so this will be managed right away. I need to get the bobbin off of there. I should cake that up because it will be easy. It's not all tangled like the other one was, or ball it up, whatever. This was Antarctica, and like I said, how it worked up, it's at least a 5, if not a 6, just the way it worked. The way it worked up. Here's the green. Now this is from a ombre green. I will find the ball. It's a large ball. It's at least double this size. And give you the details on that. But of the bobbins I made, that is all the green I had left. That's it. So I'll be able to weigh that, weigh the actual cake, but this is all of my quote unquote scrap that I ended up with. This is all of the scrap I ended up with here. I actually probably will go ahead and attach that to the pool time. Again, this is Big Twist Value. Hopefully this will be at Hirschner's, the same colorway. I'm sure dye lots matter a little bit, but when they're variegated, stuff like that it doesn't necessarily show as much. However, I did notice a big difference with the menagerie. I needed to pay attention to dye lots. So I will weigh all this and give you all the specifics of how much yarn I used of each. The graph will be included. You can adjust the graph however you want. It's just a PDF though, so you'll have to figure out how you want to convert that into whatever graph you would like to make. But that's where we're at. Like I said, I still have enough to, I assume, to make Antarctica for my map, because this is probably more than I actually used on this one. So that's the map, and it's done. And I'm really, really, really happy with it. It's a traditional double crochet, corner to corner, and it is a baby blanket is the size it is. Again, not big enough for Boggy Creek. I wouldn't send that to Boggy Creek anyway. It doesn't feel like it would be the right fit. Anyway, that's the map. I know all of you have been wanting to see this, and it's gorgeous, and I'm so happy with it. And I'll probably do a quick short too on that. But I will be adding to this video. I'm going to stop this video here, but I'll be adding to the video. Again, it's a 5.5 millimeter hook for most of it, except when I was using this yarn. I used a 4.5, so that was a pain. Not only was I changing colors yarn, I was also changing hook size for all of Antarctica. And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Anyway, like I said, I need to ball that up so it can go in for the other. But I will get you the specifics on how much yarn I used. So this is a full skein, which this skein, again, 4-weight yarn, recommended hook size 5 millimeter. That's fascinating. This also said 5 millimeter, but to me, look at, well, maybe it's not. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I had to kind of pull it back. You can see how much thinner that yellow is than that blue. And the green is very, very much a 4-weight, like to me. It's not the softest. I will show that yarn too. Like I said, I'm going to come back with where it'll be hands on. I'll be showing how much everything weighs, so I can calculate yardage and weight, how much weight. But if you had a skein and a half of this, which this is, how many yards did I say? 299 yards, which is 246 meters. And it started at 4.3 ounces. I will go ahead and attach this to this yarn so we can really get a feel for how much I used. And as far as scraps, like I have like little tiny scraps, just after weaving it ends or whatever. There's, other than this, I have nothing on bobbins. So, and some of it I was estimating, so it wasn't all calculated. But anyway, yeah. So I'm going to stop this here, and I'm going to come back and show you how much yarn I actually used of each type. Again, I won't be able to tell you that for this or for the Greenland yarn. The Greenland yarn is about half as thick as this. Like I said, how that worked up is very much like a 6. Even though, yes, it's a string with a bunch of fuzz on it, but it worked up like a 6-weight. What is that, super chunky? I don't know what the plies are again. But that one worked up pretty thick, and I had to go to a 4.5 hook, whereas the Greenland you saw in my Monday yarn management video, I didn't switch hooks, but I treated it like a bulky 5 and only did 2 double crochets, the chain 3, 2 double crochets, however you do your corner to corner. Or you could do it as a graftan. I don't care. It's out there for anybody else to do. As corner to corner, that is a lot of color work, and You must have bobbins. There is no way to do that without bobbins. I don't think there would be a way to do it as join as you go. I wish there was, but I love the texture. I said I was going to go. See, I have a 21 goodbyes problem. Anyway, so I just love the way it just gives it all that texture, but it's just double crochets and chains. Now, this obviously has its own feel. I'm thinking for a baby, it's really nice to have all these different textures because this yarn feels different than this yarn, and it feels different than this yarn. It feels different than this yarn, and this yarn even feels more different than this yarn. Honestly, on this whole blanket, that's the softest yarn. That one right there. So that's it. One more time. All right. And now I will actually stop this part and go to the part where you can find out how much yarn it would take if you were using the same yarns as I did. Okay, so here's the different yarns that I can actually give you measurements on. Again, this is the ice cream DK weight. There's the information. This is my fancy new scale that I'm so excited about because this goes separate. You can see it's quite large square. I need to plug it in the computer because I haven't put the batteries in it yet. Let me plug it in because, why would I be prepared? All right. So I just press the power and I already put it in pounds and ounces. Should I just leave it in ounces maybe? Yeah, let's switch it to just ounces. So my husband bought this as a surprise for me. I didn't know he was doing this, but this part separates so I can put it over to the side. And I'm going to weigh this one with the ball band. So I know it's going to be a little bit off. It says it's 3.5 ounces. Gotta make sure nothing's touching it. Sorry, to make sure it's accurate. It says it is 4. What the heck? This says it's 4 ounces. But on the ball band, it says 3.5. Sorry. So the reason I'm reacting that way is I know I used some yarn out of here. Let me make it naked. Let me undress this ball for a sec. Let's see if that changes anything. Okay, 4 ounces. So I had extra yarn to begin with, is what happened here. So it does take 2 and a little, but unfortunately, I'm trying to redress this ball so it's not naked anymore. Let's try the other end. Oh, I know there's some jokes there. I'm going to leave that alone. All right. Try to get that back in there. Put that there for now. So we can look at the green yarn I used. I didn't necessarily color control per se with the green yarn. It is ombre. So basically 2 skeins of this and a little, but again, if this already was 4 ounces, it's more than the bow band says, so I can't even do any calculation there. Now this says it is 9.8 ounces, and it's, some of it fell off. Hold on. That was probably lovely. Okay, this is what's left on the skein. This is just yarn, worsted value, ombre, 612 yards, 560 meters, 9.8 ounces, 280 grams, 100% acrylic. It's an ombre, and I believe the color is just green. No, Fern Ombre. So it's very striped. So that is why there was different colors of green in my. Let me make sure nothing else is on it at all. All right, pick it up, put it down. Oh, there's a little strand over here. Okay, it's saying 8.5 ounces. No, 8.0 ounces. Let me untwist this. It's saying 8 ounces exactly. So we're going to assume that's right, 8 ounces. So if we, oh shoot, I don't have my, I'll be right back. Oh God. All right, I'm just, something needed to get knocked off the table, that is. All right, so we have, it says 9.8 ounces. We have 8 ounces left. So that's simple math, right? 9.8, oops, that's too high. 9.8 minus 8.0, that means we used 1.8 ounces. Now, that's probably enough to calculate, but we can see here that it's 612 yards to the 9.8 ounces. We want to know how many yards. Ignore that, that doesn't mean anything. 1.8 ounces. Then we would go ahead and multiply these, 612. Actually, let's do the 612 divided by 9.8, and then we'll multiply by this. Need to grab my phone, which is what I knocked on the floor. All right. Again, this is probably more important to most of you. I could have done grams too, but this math was easy, so we're going with that. This is only if I actually want to know how much yardage I used. 12, 9.8, 62 point blah blah 4 blah 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 equals x over 1.8. To undo the division, we would multiply. So I'm just going to do that number times 1.8, and we get approximately 112.4. So I'm going to actually assume, I'm going to call that, I'm going to round up. I needed 115 yards of the green yarn. All right. Again, the yellow, which was all around the edge, there was a lot more of it. Took 2 skeins of this DK weight on a 5.5 millimeter hook. I have fairly loose tension, just so you're all aware of that too. So it took 2 of these skeins and a little bit, but again, this weighed more than it says on the ball band, so I really can't tell you for sure. If you're doing DK weight and you have 2 4-ounce balls, so if you have 8 ounces, that should be enough, but I would have a backup just in case you need a little bit extra yardage. But obviously I had extra yardage in that skein to begin with. Now I did have a little scrap that I put somewhere. There it is. I did not include in that. This is all of the scrap that I got from there, but this weight has, since it's on the bobbin. Oh, this is negative ounces. Okay, let me start that over. Oh, that might have been the problem. It might have been tearing that. Let me check that again. Now it's saying it's 4 ounces. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's try this again. I need nothing on it. Okay. Let's weigh this again just to see if it was doing that as a tear. Oh, now it's saying 2 ounces. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's okay. Nothing is reliable right now. Hold on. And turn it off and turn it on again, because that's how you fix all your technology. I need to make sure the wires aren't on there. It was sitting on a wire. See, now it's saying it's 3 ounces. I think it would have some weight in there. So, no, now it's saying 3.5 ounces. Oh, useless. All right. Yes, the scale is better. It was operator error. So we may or may not have started with, I don't know, how much ever the ball band weighs. I'm not undressing it again. I know that I had to use this, but not much of it. So 112 yards of the green seems a little low. So let's do this again. Now that it's not got a tear weight on it and it's not sitting on there, let's see how much it says it weighs. Now it's saying 7.5, 7.0. Okay. I'll keep checking. 7.5, 7.0. 7.0. So yeah, we actually used a lot more. That makes more sense. I was thinking that was a little low. All right. Let's do our math again. We have a whole extra ounce, which is a lot. And of course I don't have my eraser, because why would I? Why would I make my life easier? All right. So we're doing 9.8 ounces minus 7 ounces. It's 2.8 ounces. And we know that I'm going to divide this ratio of 2.8 over, what was it? Sorry, 9.8 over 612. This is only if you want the yardage. Now we're going to say this is ounces. Oh, I think I did it upside down. We know how many ounces we have. Oh my gosh, I did everything wrong. I am probably going to delete that whole first thing. I'll leave a little clip, but we need to not have that wrong. You have to line up your values. I think I had it flipped. It's fine. Yeah, I did have it flipped. So I'm going to redo it. 612 divided by 9.8 equals X, because that's our yards, over 2.8. Now that's, okay, see, this makes more sense to me. That's about 175 yards. So if you want, I would say you'd want 200 yards of the green if you're going to do the same dimensions that I did. Use a 5.5 millimeter hook and do the green squares just like I did. All right. Okay. So now I'm not going to deal with the ice cream yellow yarn because that was the whole thing. You know what I need to do? I need to face it this way. Let's see if that fixes my problem. If I have this cord coming out the side instead. Sorry. Showed you a bunch of apps and you might have seen Trish. If you don't follow Trish, check her out. What's her actual name? Crocheting Around New Zealand. Trish. Check her out. All right. The blue. I have already tied it on my scrap because I know I need it for my other blanket. This one, it was so little yarn. I don't even want to bother tying it on. It'll just go in my scrap bag. All right. This is Big Twist value and it's not on. I have to turn it on first, make sure it's in the right units, and then I can put the yarn on. It says 3.5 ounces. Okay, but again, this is my second skein, so that makes sense. So when your math is mathing, so 3.5 ounces. So we're just going to do the subtraction this time. All the way out of the way. Where's my napkin that I was, or my Kleenex that I was cleaning with? Oh my gosh. Let's grab another one. Ill prepared. All right. So that the other math wasn't wrong. It was just, like I said, I'd call the green yarn about 200, even though it came out at 175. Let's call it 200. And I said this was this 3.5 yards? Yeah, 3.5 ounces. So we need 4.3. Oh my gosh, this is very light. But it's a whole skein plus, right? So altogether, we need 0.8 ounce. Let's call that an ounce. So we need altogether approximately 5.3 ounces. I'm just way rounding up, again, because this has the ball band on it and whatever. So the weight is a little misleading. So we're rounding up, call it 5.3. And so X over 5.3 equals, no, that is not what yes, that is what I want. X over 5.3 equals 299, right? 200. Oh, I can read. 269. All right. Good thing I double checked that. It's 4.3 ounces. All right, calculator time. All clear. So we're going to do 269 divided by 4.3. And that equals 62.56. And then we're going to undo this division, we're going to multiply by 5.3. This is only if you want the yards. If you need the ounces, go for it. That's all you need. So this came out as approximately, I'm rounding up, 335 yards. I'm rounding up quite a bit. Well, it's 331 and a large fraction. So 332. So if it's 4-weight yarn, you're going to want about 335 yards or 350 yards, give or take. Again, the yellow, we needed 2 full skeins of 394 yards and a little. So we probably need 800 yards of this and probably 8 ounces. But again, this was a lighter weight yarn. Anyway, so we needed more yardage, I guess, to cover it because we were using bigger hook. I don't know. Anyway, that's all of our calculations. So I'm going to write that down. We needed 335 for blue. It was about 200, I said, for the green, right? Now that does not count any of the white fluffy stuff. That does not account for any of this till Antarctica. So you do need more yardage you can just do solid white. You can do whatever you want. You could do green down here. It doesn't matter. But you would just need more yards. Probably all together with Greenland, which is a different yarn than I did for Antarctica. You probably need, I'm going to ballpark another 100 yards of whatever you use for Greenland and or Antarctica. Otherwise, just do everything green. But I like the way Greenland looks because it does have a permafrost. Very large island, I guess. Country island. But anyway, this scale is good. This was completely operator error. I like it a lot. I can't put it on there, but yeah, you can change whatever units you want. So I could have done it in grams. But now we've got a good picture of how much we needed. Other things I used. No, I did not use a row counter. I used stitchfiddle.com. The graph that you'll get, it's going to be a 1-page graph. Feel free to print it out from the link that I will have in the description. But that's all the yarn I used. Again, I didn't show anything about the white because I don't know much about the white yarn. But I can tell you, at least now, approximately 335 yards of blue, approximately 200 yards of green. That seems low. Well, I guess not. No, you have a lot more blue than green, right? And the green is all together. Yeah, there's a lot more blue than green. I just had to look at it again. And then we needed about 800 yards of the yellow. But that was a different weight yarn, so I don't know how much that impacted it. All right. That's the map blanket. So here's what you really wanted to see. And the details are, I used a 5.5 millimeter hook, which is an I in US hook sizes, I guess. Or is that yeah, it's an I. Sorry. I used about 335 yards to 400 yards of the blue yarn for the ocean. I used about 800 to 825 yards of the yellow yarn for the background. I used about 200 yards of the green yarn. And then I'm going to estimate that I used about between 75 and 100 yards of white or white variegated or whatever you want to call that yarn for Antarctica and for Greenland all together. So that's about how much yarn it took. And the graph, so that you could make it your own way, is viewable. Feel free to make a copy and save it to your own drive, wherever you download that PDF. I really hope you all give it a shot. It is a lot of color work. I'm not even going to pretend. Make sure you watch my tips and tricks playlist for this blanket, because I do a lot of color changes to make my life a little easier in certain sections, so I'm not constantly cutting yarn and weaving in ends. Anyway, I hope you all love it, and with that, can I get an amen? And thanks for coming in.